guest today is Clark Sell. Clark, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. This is the first time you've been on my show.
I know, you haven't asked me.
I-
I'm just kidding, George.
I didn't have the guts until now,
Oh, come on.
and you haven't asked me to do your show. You have two
I
shows,
haven't
don't
done
you?
it. Yeah. Yeah, we do Developer Smackdown and then Thirsty Developer.
Uh-huh.
But I've been a little slacked a little bit on Developer Smackdown too.
Maybe we'll have a lecture footage
Due to
in
some
this
other
show.
engagements that's been going on.
That conference,
Yes.
which we're at right now, which is
Yeah.
awesome so far.
Thank you.
We're about 2/3 of a day into it.
Yep. Yep.
And,
2 more days to go.
I think it's safe to say it's a success so far.
Oh, I don't want to say that till the end, but I would agree.
So your day job is with Microsoft as a evangelist, right?
A web evangelist out of Chicago. I typically work Wisconsin and Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So web on web and web on Windows.
Okay.
So the new story on Windows 8.
So that's like tinker a lot with
Yeah,
technology.
if it's HTML5 somewhere in there, slinging brackets around.
We'll talk about the
JavaScript.
brackets another time. Oh, you're telling me about something you're doing at home, a side project. That's
Yeah.
nothing to do with your day job. That I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah, so me and a couple buddies decided to automate our garage doors. So the intention was
My garage doors are already automated. I
it
just
is
push a
already
button.
it is already automated, and most cars have those built-in nice little garage door openers. But I suffer from a disease called one block, which is where you get one block away from your garage and you ask your wife 10 times if you shut the garage. So you have to turn back around and look at that, go back and look at the garage. So the cure for that disease turns out to be a bunch of microcontrollers and JavaScript code and servers and SMS messages and Twilio and this whole kind of networked mesh of things.
This is a case where the cure could potentially be worse than the disease.
Probably.
Okay.
Probably.
So
I
you-
could just look at the garage door and
So
say
tell me about
what's
this
closed.
project. You got some microcontrollers and
Yeah, so the thought was how could we make the garage door kind of autonomous in the sense that we could take a microcontroller, interface it with the actual garage door controller, and anytime the door opened or closed or moved, or you wanted to send a command to the door to open or close, you could basically put a box on the side of the wall, hook it up to a couple wires, and then out you get, real-time messages from the door, and you could send the door stuff. So
send it all across the web.
across the web, anywhere you are, get a message.
Okay.
Say you.
So if you
know.
got a block away, you say, "Did I close it? Well, I better close it again just to be sure."
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Hey, Clark, you there?
So the garage door is already autonomous because you have a switch in there and it opens and closes, and that's fine.
Okay.
We needed a way to know whether or not the door was open or closed. So the first thing that started was putting a sensor on the top and bottom of the actual garage door track. So we have a barrel roll magnetic sensor and a magnet, and when the door moves, the magnet's on the side of the door, and when it rolls over the barrel connector, it opens and closes the switch.
Right.
So you have a switch on the top and the bottom, and as the thing moves over and it goes back
Just
up.
the one that already exists on there, or you try a new one? There's already like an electric eye on mine that kind of.
No, that's the eye to make sure when you walk underneath the door that it flips it back up.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't actually
So
give
this-
you any positional things, it just says
So you
if
added
this.
another piece of hardware to
Right.
protect this. Okay.
So in the track, we have 2 magnetic sensors that
Okay.
go up and down. So that tells a microcontroller, like an Arduino, an Arduino, Gadgeteer, whatever.
GHI. They're from Detroit.
Yeah.
That's why I mentioned that.
Now, and there Pete's doing a bunch of GHI stuff. So you can take those sensors and relay that data into the microcontroller. So you basically have an event loop that's sitting there going, what's the state of the sensor? What's the state of the sensor? When the sensor changes, so when it becomes dirty, then the microcontroller can say, hey, in our case, we go out and talk to a Node server and
Node.js.
Node.js running up in the cloud somewhere. Send the message there, and anything that has subscribed to that message, so me, my wife, my kid, could have an account which knows that these are the doors that are applicable for that account. And then anytime the state of the door changes, you could automatically send a message to the Node server.
Okay. And they could send out, say, a text message.
And then it could go send an SMS message or an email or just, your On the other side of things, it could be a web page that has a WebSocket to the Node.js server, and you get a real-time display of the things that are going on. It all sounds simple, right? We're talking about sending a message back and forth.
Yep.
But the reality is you have security, you have firewalls, you have SSL, you have WebSocket protocols.
It's a lot of moving parts.
Right, and that's just to get a message, right? We haven't even talked about the actual sending the command. So on the flip side of that, say you are a block away and you don't want to turn around, you want to send the actual command, now you have to be able to send a command back through to the microcontroller to tell the door, open or close. So the actual controlling the garage door is really simple because it's just a simple switch. You can take the two wires off the back of your garage door opener. You've basically taken those two wires and plugged them into a shield that snaps on a Arduino. And we can just connect them and that will open the door, close the door. That's great, but you don't want to let anybody just do that.
Right.
Right, because now people could be sitting outside your house, go to, clarksgaragedoor.com and say
So
open.
there's
and-
basically a REST interface that just says open the door or close the door through Node.
No, because that would be too easy.
That'd be too easy.
Because then anybody could go do that, right?
Well,
They
you
could
start,
just
you
flip
start
of
with
it.
that and then you secure it, I guess. And then that's why I would approach it. I would start with the simplest and then put security on top of it. It sounds like you did not do that.
Well, so instead of having a REST endpoint, we basically put a REST endpoint through a TCP/IP socket.
Okay.
Because if I have a REST endpoint on my microcontroller and I fire it up in my house, now I've got a NAT firewall that's sitting there that I can't get to from the outside.
Okay.
Right, so I'd have to poke a hole. Well, now I've got security breach number one. I've just opened this big gashing hole to my house. Instead, what happens is we take the microcontroller, have it create a TCP/IP socket directly out to the node server. So it knows, it says, I know I should only ever be able to talk to this guy.
Okay.
So I'm going to open a TCP/IP socket, and I will only ever accept communication back through the socket of which I opened. Right, so nobody else can say, hey, I want to open a socket to you. Then on the node side, you control the fan out. So if I've got a web browser or a phone or whatever, you can do WebSockets into that and then kind of funnel it back through.
Okay.
And then you can put the security here, you can put it on the clients, you can put it on it.
So have you completed this project?
Oh, hell no. So
Where
it
are you
started
on
off
this?
simple. Well, so we started this back in December and things were working and we had all the pipes working back and forth and it was cold. And in the Midwest we get snow. And the testing of the garage door meant you were sitting in the garage opening and shutting the door. So we got tired of that. So we built these nice little analogs that are little garages. I think we actually brought one to the conference.
Really?
They're garages that have a door that opens and closes and it has the trip
You
wire.
mocked out your garage.
We mocked out our garage. We built two of them. And we've been working through that. So we've actually written, an entire workflow machine that runs on a microcontroller. We've got the Node code. We've got a Windows 8 code. We've got WebSocket. So we have this nice little environment and a little cloud, which we call a router. And, we kind of plug it all in and we can keep working on it back and forth. But we haven't got to where we have a little security switch that will only let messages flow out rather than messages come in.
So somebody's got to throw that switch in order to make it secure.
To allow you to open and close the door.
Okay.
And we haven't gotten to the place where we could flip that switch. So we don't want to leave our garage doors kind of in the cloud, if you will.
I understand.
So, but it's been a fun project. You learn a lot. I didn't do electronics, and it wasn't an electrical engineer.
So part of this is hardware. Part of you're actually soldering boards together.
Absolutely.
And hooking up these little Arduino boards
Yep.
and so on. And then part of it is software. We're
Yep.
writing programming against Node.js and against the
Dynamic
Micro
framework. Yep. And then of course, Windows 8 or just the web is HTML5.
And so
JavaScript,
the user
and all that.
interface, you're going to do it in terms of HTML, just because you know that because you're a web guy.
Yeah. Well, and we can use it across all the different things,
Yeah,
right? Why
okay.
even bother?
Yeah, good point.
And it wasn't, the garage door for us was just a switch. It's just a device. It could be a sump pump, it could be a light, it could be any other
So once you
thing.
tackle this problem, your whole house now becomes fair game.
Yeah, so the way we've built these Arduinos is you have a shield that works for a thing, right? Whether that's a 16-volt garage door or a, sump pump or whatever.
Mhm.
And we've got a nice little box, and you can basically take the thing, put it in the box, and then you have this autonomous thing that, other than needing power, it could be Wi-Fi, it could be.
It's got a little program running on it.
Yeah,
It just
fire
does
it
whatever you
up,
tell
it
to.
knows what it does, it goes on, talks to the cloud, and says, hey, I'm here, I registered myself.
And then it fires outputs, basically, and receives inputs.
Yeah, through its own channel.
Yeah.
So it's neat, right? It's kind of the fun side of stuff.
You blogging about this?
I haven't had a chance yet, but we will.
You've been busy lately.
We're slightly. We're gonna. The plan is that once we have the boards, kind of. I don't want to say signed off. We're pretty comfortable with the electrical design of the board.
Uh-huh.
We'll go get them stamped through some electronic
Oh, you might
manufacturer,
sell these out
and just say, here's $10 if you want to do it, for the price of the board and
Right.
shipping, whatever. You can go tinker with it yourself. I mean, we've spent hundreds of hours making it, so let people, kind of mess around with it. So we're getting there,
Sounds like fun.
weekends. Yeah, I mean, it's
All
neat,
about
right?
fun.
It's fun code, right? Nobody's dying. There's no babies. There's no health care. There's no pension pennies. It's just, go have some fun.
Clark, thanks a lot.
Hey, thank you. My name is Clark Sell, and I'm sitting here at that conference geeking out on some technology and meeting a lot of new friends. Thanks for watching.